Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought on another fantastic guest. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And one more time, the Oswald Chronicles currently on Kickstarter. You can go check out the links in the show notes. First 45 backers. Get yourself a little acrylic pin, little sticker there. So without further ado, enough about me. Let's bring on the man of the hour. What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Nah, it's awesome. But please, Andy, please let everybody introduce yourself because
My, yeah, absolutely. My name is Anthony Stokes. I'm the writer of Intrusive Thoughts, Decay, which you talked about. And man, I just love storytelling, love making comics.
all right, cool. All right, now let's I'm gonna hit you up with the question. I hit up everybody. Everybody. I do it to everyone. So now there was obviously little Anthony at one time, and little
Mhm.
Anthony had that first comic. Not interested. Don't need to know the first comic. What
Okay.
I am interested in is what's the what's the comic that got you interested in creating comics?
Man, I would be a big Anthony at that point because what I really wanted to do when I was a kid was make movies. You know,
Okay, fair enough.
yes, I saw Super Bad, Inglorious Bastards. I was a freshman year, and I
Mhm.
was like hooked, and that kind of started my thing for storytelling. As far as comic books go, I'm gonna say One Piece.
Okay.
Not American comic, but it
Mhm.
is a manga, so like it's the same medium.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, unlike many of the older generation, I consider manga comic books.
Right.
So so
They are comic books. Like
exactly, they are comic books. Exactly, yes. As manga means comic books, just in Japanese. Just whatever. You know.
I'm glad,
Um,
man, because like it's like that's such a silly conversation that we got the comics or not. Like what are we doing if we're spending time arguing that?
exactly. But listen, when I was a kid in the '80s, right, anime was around, but it was still relatively new. But I remember going. We used to have a place out here called Tokyo Video, and I would go out there and buy video. I would rent videotapes from them. But I remember when Akira first came out in was it 86, 87, 88, somewhere around that time, and it was just a white box and it just said Akira, and it was $20. I was like, I plopped out my money, I took it, watched it, no subtitles,
Oh my god.
no dubbing, nothing. Just pop it in. It's VHS. Pop it in, and it's like an acid trip, you know.
$20 for a
Yeah.
VHS rental? Oh my god.
No, no, I no. That was the buy it. The rentals were
Oh,
like
okay,
$5.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I'm about to
No,
say
no.
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was fun though. But all right, so check it out. So what's your process, man? Like, what do you do when you writing scripts? Are you doing like full on scripts, or you doing like the Marvel style, was a little bit loose? So you just giving them a beat sheet. You working out how what's your preferred method?
So I write. I just what I my goal is to get it on the paper so I can get feedback, right? Like I don't
Hmm.
really care about grammar. Like I really don't give a shit. Like I'm just like I just
Yeah,
need
yeah.
something because I can't get feedback if you're not reading it. So that's the first
Mhm.
thing. And then I kind of tighten it up and think about the grammar and kind of add the scenes or adjust it. And then I do a panel breakdown and I usually give my artist like a certain amount of leeway. Like some scenes it's like this is how it's gonna have to be. You better come up with some amazing for me to like move off of this. But a lot of times like okay, you can we'll go off of your interpretation of what I'm saying, basically what I want.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, but are you doing like panel one, scene one, three-quarter
Mhm.
worm's eye, that sort of thing?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, cool. No, you froze for half a second. I was like, was that me or was that him?
Yeah, I
So,
think it was me. Sorry. Sorry about that.
all
I
right.
don't know what's going on.
No, no, that's cool. No, no, it's the internet. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Right,
happen
right.
to me too. So don't worry about it. It
No
has
problem.
everybody. Um, yeah. So I mean, obviously you got your art team together, and you did 3 issues of the Decay. Like, how's that work out for you? Like, what was your experience with that? Doing, like creating that first issue because you had to get your team together. What was that? I mean, because that learning curve is a curve. So I mean, how did that treat you?
Man, I got beat up. Like I got beat up bad, and I took so many lumps. I took
Mm-hmm.
so many lumps with that first issue, man. I didn't know the difference between like CMYK and RGB. I didn't know about
Right.
printing margins.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just stepped into the fire and You know, my thing with my first year in comics and kind of like all what I'd like to go into situations where I have no information. I'm out of over my head. I'm just like, I'm gonna get beat up, I'm gonna get my ass whooped, but I'm gonna learn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really it. Like, okay, I didn't know printing margins. It was more expensive than I thought, you know, like
Right.
it was so much stuff, but I'm better off for it now, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, definitely. That's cool. So, I mean, where did you pull your team from? Like, I know so you got your artists, you got your colorists. So they're all the same person. You working with different heads. Where you find them?
So for Decay, I found Marcelo, who's the artist for Intrusive Thoughts. I found
Mm,
him on Reddit, and we've been working
okay,
together for almost 2 years now.
nice.
And then yeah, no, he's great. And then I found SK through a Facebook group, comic book
Mm,
Facebook group, because there's a lot of those groups, those comic groups on Facebook.
mm-hmm.
And then I found DNS, who did Intrusive Thoughts on Twitter, and Mirror Mortal. I met Mirror Mortal through him because that was like his letterer, and I
Mm,
feel like their style was really good. You know, I feel
right.
good for each other.
All right. Cool. Now, what was your vetting process for them? Like, what did you do? Did you say, give me a pinup?
Hmm.
Did you throw them a script, like a few pages of the script? Like, what were you doing to vet them?
So essentially, like a letter, you can kind of tell about a letterer, like
Mm-hmm.
what they're capable of, more or less. It's a pretty simple process. And they more or less work independent of each other as well. But for me, like with Marcelo, I gave him some short, like 2 pages, 1 page, 1 page, to see how we work together. And then DNS, it was the same thing. He had done a couple variant covers for me for Decay.
Right.
And so I was like, who wants to do a series with me? And he said, me. And then I kind of wrote it to his style. And then that's how it went. So I think this is cool because I wrote this with his style in mind, you know?
All right, cool. No, that definitely works, man. Because I mean, it. I'm so far, like I write my stuff, and I'm like, I'm so far into it. I'm like, I just write the stories. I'm not concerned
Yeah.
about the artist. I'm like, yo, here it is. You know, give me back magic. Thank you. Right.
There's a lot to that. And I think the benefit of that, right, is that you had the foreshadowing. Like my friend says I'm an Attack on Titan stan. He makes fun of me, but
Mhm.
if you watch Attack on Titan, you understand the lore. There's setup in there's foreshadowing in that first
Right.
episode. You watch stuff like Game of
Mhm.
Thrones, there's foreshadowing in that first
Yeah.
episode. It helps with the
Mhm.
replay value and the world building. You can't do that. It's gonna be harder to do that if you're kind of like just going with the flow, you know, like
Right.
you're just doing stuff, you know.
Yeah. 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 It's like I tell people. It's like you were saying. You write what you write, right? And you try to get your feedback, right? And then you go back and you make you make your edits.
Yes.
And I tell everybody, I said the magic is in that edit, because that's when you're going to bring that story out. Because
Yeah.
I tell everyone, I says, write whatever you want, have the characters dancing on the moon, on the sun, whatever, but when it comes down to that edit, you got to be ready to like chop out what needs to be chopped out.
You know what's so funny is that so when I write scripts, yeah, when I write anything, it's like bare bones. It's like
Mm,
I outline. I think what really broke and what technique I really use religiously
right.
is I'll do an outline, right? So you might do an outline. It's like scene, scene, scene.
Hmm.
When I do an outline, I actually outline the scene. I'm like, this character says this, which makes this character, and what that does is one, it makes the writing process easier because I've essentially written the entire thing out at that point, and I'm able to think about like the dialogue and the plot points and stuff like that. But it also has a lot of structure,
Right.
because it's hard. It's hard when you're doing that and you're thinking about how to connect A to B, and then while you're thinking about that, it just makes it all the more cohesive. And also, what I'd like to do is keep it very light. Like to me, it's like I like cooking as a metaphor, right? I like to
Hmm.
cook as a metaphor for writing. So it's easier to you can fix under seasoning, right? You can always add more seasoning, but you can't take
Hmm.
seasoning away. So it's
Right.
like I like to have as little, like I just like to keep it minimalistic. And then also what that forces you to do is make those moments count. So it makes you compress. Like you'll add more character moments, more foreshadowing, more stuff because it's less of it, right? It's like more condensed.
Hmm. No, definitely. All right, cool. So let me ask you this. What do you consider, like, what's your favorite part of the process of creating a comic? Like, what's that? What's the thing that does it for you the most? What's the thing that puts that smile on your face? Like, yeah, that's it right there.
When I write the script and I get like feedback and it's good, that's because it's free. It's free to write a script. It's like that's the
Mhm.
easiest part. I'm like, okay, I got something good, and then like you said, writing it in advance because I do like I mostly do 5 to 6 issue series. Like in Choose of Thoughts, I might switch to a 5 issue series, a 6 issue series right now. But it's
Mhm.
like nice to knock that out, kind of get things. I think when I finish the series scripting, that's the best part. Like when there's like no more writing to do at that point.
All right, cool. Now, right, exactly. Uh, now when you're now what's the part that gives you the most dread? Like, what's the part you'd be like, damn it, man, I got to do this again. Okay.
you know I'm trying, let me think about this real. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna say when you see the money leave your bank account when you pay your artist, because paying your artist is good, right? Like that's a
Yes.
good thing, but having
Mhm.
less money in your bank account is not a good thing.
Right.
I think that's diplomatic enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, that's fair. I have two bank accounts. I got one for them and one for me. Right.
Yeah.
My day job's for me, and then the other one, whatever I get from Kickstarter or the other side hustles that I do, selling books to stores and stuff, that's for them. And and that one, I drain that sucker down to the dollar sometimes. So
Yeah. It's not cheap, man. It's not cheap.
no, I tell everybody, I'm like, look, man, it's like a lot of people ask, right? Is there money to be made? Their answer is yes. Is there a lot of money to be made? Oof, that's the question, right? Is there a lot of money to be made? It's
I
just
think
like
so, bro. I really
there
do.
there are opportunities. That's the one good thing. There are opportunities, but it's just uh, attacking them. And that's what you have to do. You have to attack those opportunities. You can't even like wait on them. You got to just jump and keep jumping. You know.
What I like about comics with the invent of something like Kickstarter, I think it's removed a lot of the guessing work away from, like, I can look at a project and generally you can kind of think of a range of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that I've heard a couple times I just disagree with is like, oh, you can do everything right and not make it in comics. And it's just like that's not true. This isn't like sports. Like you're not gonna blow out an ACL, and then you can't
Mm-hmm.
make a comic anymore.
Right.
But it's just so much stuff that you have to do. Like doing everything right is like next to impossible because it's like
Mm-hmm.
mailing lists, marketing, social media. It's so much stuff. But I truthfully believe I feel like there is a track that you could become successful. I think you'll will yourself to success just by making a good product, testing. It's just like anything else. And I think
Yeah.
the unfortunate thing is that it's when you look at the way it's the industry is just behind. Like the comic, it's just behind. I understand. Like maybe you can just make small changes to your thing to make it more profitable later. It's just these
Mm-hmm.
things that you would do anything else. You would do this if you're trying to sell burgers or a car. But when it's
Right.
comics, it's like, no, I gotta stick to I gotta do this super uber specific thing that's like 5 or 10 years out of date. It's just like, man, if you just look at the market and
Mm-hmm.
be like, I'm gonna make something that's gonna fill this void. I promise you'll have so much. It'll be so much easier to sell that thing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a market. It's just
Yeah.
little things like that.
No, I got you, man. I got you. I mean, like I said, the definitely opportunities, and you got to stick with it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Because the second you give up, that's it. It's over. You know,
Yeah.
because Richard and Wendy Pini, ElfQuest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those two have been doing those. Dude, I was a kid. I mean, I was literally like, I would see their books on the racks when I was like 10. And I'm old, bro. I'm from the 80s. So, um, so um but the thing they do though that I find remarkable, which is why I say they're my heroes, is that book is still around
Yeah.
and it is available from issue 1, and they have packaged it and repackaged it and resold it every time. It's
That's how
been
you do it.
manga size, it's been oversized, it's been undersized, it's been every size you can print it. They've done it. God bless them. I love it.
Man, I can't wait to resell the same stuff, bro. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get to my first trade. Oh my goodness, because I don't make money then. There's gonna be money in comics when I make that trade. Let me tell you that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm at a point where it's like I make money on the trade, and I'm like, oh, but I got this other thing I want to do. So I just
yeah, you gotta sell it to make it.
Yep.
You really got to sell it to make it. But I think what really helps, what I'm really excited for. So this is my second series, obviously. What I'm really excited for is the back catalog. Like, I feel like that's so huge because you get a new fan, you get a new person to stumble across your Kickstarter or what have you, and they want to check out all your stuff, and they're buying older stuff that you already paid for. Like, oh my God, don't let it be a digital bundle. Like, oh my goodness, it's like straight profit. Oh my Lord.
And listen, I've said to people, I have this conversation with my wife all the time, and I'm like, would I rather sell 1,000 books or 1,000 digital? Right?
1,000 digital.
Exactly.
That's easy.
Exactly.
What's the benefit of the physical? What's the benefit of the physical at that point?
Exactly. I don't have to sign them. I don't have to box them. I don't have to wrap them. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I said, just give me the money, and just move on, man.
Yeah, because you're getting all the benefits of physical would be you can upsell for a signature, I guess, and then you get like you can put out your information and they'll pick up on your information, but they're doing that if it's digital anyway, So yeah, give me the digital, please.
I mean, you just got to go that way, but
even better, back digitally and give me a bonus, so it's like worth the physical. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really where it's at.
Oh yeah, I mean, but all right, check that. Your first campaign, right? What was your biggest takeaway from it?
My first camp. Oh, this is expensive. It's expensive because I almost doubled my campaign, and I still spent more than I made.
I believe that.
Yeah. So for me, I try to learn everything in campaign. That I learned that from Pat Shan. So I think that one was just, it's almost like you know what it is that you learn it and then it becomes commonplace. So you don't think about, it's like I've always been doing this, but that's not true.
Gotcha. All right. If you had what's the piece of advice you would have appreciated getting before you launched?
Okay, so this is going to be specific to Kickstarter. You know what? I think, and I'm not sure if I had this or not, I would have had all the shipping materials ordered like well in advance. And I don't know, I like I said, I don't know if I didn't do that, and I don't know if that's commonplace. But to me, just having whatever you're using, having on hand, so as soon as you get your books, you can get it done. I would also have a lot of like the update swaps. I would have that stuff lined up, and I'm kind of being hypocritical because I don't have one of those lined up right now at this moment, but that would be a good piece of advice.
All right. No, you 110%. 110%. Now, so you're talking about manga, right? You mentioned a little bit about manga. Now, do you consider that a bigger influence on you than, let's say, American comics?
100%. It's not even close, to be honest. I can think of like the amount of comics that I've reread, like American comics I reread, like Girls by Image,
okay,
Watchmen, The Essential Spider-Man as a kid, and that's kind of the ones that I've like. Oh, Scott Pilgrim,
right?
But Scott Pilgrim does have that manga influence, So it's mainly a big stuff that I'm just sitting there like, okay, I need to revisit this every once in a while. But if it's manga, I think I reread One Piece twice within like a year, saying a calendar year. And if you know how long One Piece is,
I've never read it, but I've heard.
At that point, it was probably 900 chapters.
Wow. Is that like 900 volumes?
No, 900 chapters.
Oh, okay.
So probably like 30 volumes. Probably more. Anyway. Anyway. So I've read Chainsaw Man, for instance. I reread that 3 times. I've rewatched Attack on Titan 3 times, so
Mhm.
that is definitely a bigger influence. And like I said, I consider them the same medium.
Right.
Like I really don't. For the sake of conversation, sometimes I'll separate them, but really to me, they're the same medium. You know,
Right.
but I
Uh,
think what draws me to manga more so is it's more of an auteur style.
mhm.
And I think it's a closed story. Not One Piece, but like for instance, Chainsaw Man, it was like 90 chapters. Like I can read that in the afternoon.
Right.
And you start it when you start it, that's all you need. You need the issue, you need the volume one, and then that's
Mhm.
it. And then with even when American comics, you pick up a run of a superhero comic book, there's like lore and stuff that you might need to know or isn't important. There's set dressing or backdrop story that you might not know. So yeah, I would definitely say I prefer manga, to be honest.
Gotcha. All right. No, that's definitely fair, man. I mean, that's what you grew up on, so that's what it's. Yeah. Now that's the thing. When you were introduced to comics and manga, where were you getting those? Like, where were you finding them?
This is cool. So it was summertime. One, I was a bad kid. So so
Mm,
so my mom says, she always says, like, as a kid, I'll tell you to run right, go right, you go left. All right, whatever.
mm,
I don't believe that, but I was always grounded. So all I could do was read books.
mm.
And then I would read manga, and then I was so bad one time, my mom took away my manga too.
Ouch.
Yeah. The primary place, yeah, I was like on super max.
Mm,
I would go. She worked down the street from she worked up the street from a library. So I would go to the library. She'd give me like $10. I would like
mm,
go read a bunch of books, get ice, like get some fried rice from the Chinese spot, and then go back to reading. It was so like great days doing that.
mm,
And then the library, and then Barnes and Noble. Sometimes I would run across the street to Barnes and Nobles every once in a while, but it was just any way I can get my hands on them. But I really like them in bulk.
right.
And I don't know if you know the rapper Russ, but he was talking about how when there's a lot of something, this kind of goes
Mhm,
back to my back catalog thing. When there's a lot of something, it's easy to get addicted to it, right? Like you
mhm,
can watch a good pilot or something like that, but if you watch a pilot that you love and there's 3 seasons of it, it's like I gotta watch this. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it was just you're sitting in this library and there's literally hundreds of these things. It's like intoxicating.
Mhm,
And that I would stack a pile of books this high and just go down, swap them out. If I went to the library and I checked them out, I'll reread them multiple times,
mhm.
like like in one sitting, and it kind of ruined my attention to detail from reading manga because I can't read stuff normally because my eyes are like naturally like darting across the page. So
Right.
no, it's definitely a major influence for sure.
Gotcha. Now, there's well, okay. I mean, did you read? Obviously, you said you read One Piece and a few of the others. Did you ever read any of the old school mangas? Like I have Lone Wolf and Cub, right? I don't know if you ever read that,
No, I'm
right?
okay. So the oldest manga that I read and I loved,
Mm,
Dragon Ball.
okay.
Really enjoyed Dragon Ball.
Mm,
Inuyasha, I really enjoyed, and Rama One Half. Rama One Half, honestly, was probably my favorite. No, it was definitely my favorite series growing up. I thought it was so fun. I thought it was so funny. And that was probably the oldest one that I had consumed, to be honest with you, because I had to read it. Like this is not before the internet, but it was certainly
yeah,
like I was too young. By the time I could really, really use the internet, I was like 17 years old, and I'm like, I'm not really sure I was reading manga at that point.
right.
Like
No,
I'm
no,
watching
no.
movies and stuff.
Hmm. I got you. Did you ever get a chance to read Akira though?
No, I probably should. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, yeah. You should definitely check it. It's some good stuff. Katsuhiro Tomo does. I mean, the artwork is just incredible. When the dude is good enough that he can force his publishers to print his books twice the size, he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm curious because the Akira movie to me felt a little choppy. Like
Mhm.
it felt like there's a lot of stuff happening
Oh
that
yeah.
I can't take in. Like I'm just following
Mhm.
for the visuals. So I'm like, all right, the book probably has the extra context that the
Yeah.
movie was missing.
exactly. Yeah, it's gonna have all the extra things that are missing. But I mean, the movie itself is technically like incredible, especially when you
Oh,
consider when it was made. You know, it was like, you know, this was in the mid '80s, and that stuff was crazy. The only other person I think doing anime on that level was Hayao Miyazaki.
yeah, another
You know what
beast.
I mean? Yeah, that's the only other person I think was doing it on that level. But yeah, you know, but yeah, I would definitely suggest it. If you ever get to read Lone Wolf and Cub, I would tell you, I would suggest that. I would even suggest the movie, the
The
live
what?
action, the live action movie, Lone Wolf and Cub, old school, vicious samurais just chopping people to bits. It's oof. If you like B grade, you know, films, you know, if you
Oh,
like
the
that
B
sort of
movies.
thing, yeah. If you like B grade movies, man, you know, this'll you know, this'll hit you, this'll hit a good spot for you.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit about decay. Like, I mean, what is because here's the thing, I don't Andy, I don't know you. This is the first time we met.
Yeah,
This is awesome, you know. And I always try to not know too much about who I'm talking to or what because I'm looking at this and I'm exploring, right? And I'm
yeah,
trying to find out who you are. I'm trying to pull out. So when the fans see this, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, you know, this is what this is what this guy's all about." So talk to me about Decade. Like, what was the thought process? What was going in with that?
absolutely. So what I really thought, I felt as if horror movies, like R-rated superhero movies, was going to be popular. I felt like that was the thing that was going to take off. And
Mm,
this is before COVID. This is right before COVID,
right.
if not during COVID. And I was like, okay, cool. So I kind of reverse engineered that, and I was like, okay, New Orleans would be that's a cheap way to that's the cheapest place to film a movie, you know.
Hmm.
And then so I kind of reversed. Okay, so New Orleans, what can we do? Voodoo, revenge, and I kind of worked my way back from the ending. But I just wanted to do something that was from a process perspective. I wanted to do something that was simple that I can like. I wanted something done in 2 years. Every series I work on, I want to be done. I want to be able to be done in 2 years. So I really like the yeah, because when it like I have aspirations of getting published, and
Hmm.
with that I have to keep making new series. I have to keep taking bites at the apple, keep I need more at bats or what have you.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wanted something that was really simple, and I wanted something that was like gritty and like something that you could would be really striking,
Right.
So I was trying to convince anybody. I realized, so I was in New York visiting my friend,
Mm.
and he he this is some guy was walking up to me. He's like, "Yo, man, you want to listen to my mixtape?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll take a mixtape." And he was like, "Yo, can you give me a couple dollars for it?" And I was like, "I don't have any cash." And he like kind of took it back, and that taught me
Mm.
like, okay, chasing the upfront money can hurt you on the back end, because I never know. He might have had a fan for life, but he's worried about the dollars or what have you. So I was like, that's
Mm.
also part of my. I was like, I want anybody to be able to read this. I don't necessarily want to charge too much. I want a low point of entry, if not no point of entry, barrier
Right.
of entry, excuse me.
All right, cool. So I mean, the story you were saying that you were thinking that superheroes are going to move into like R and horror and that sort of thing. How does that fold into Decay? Like, what's that story about? Is it about superheroes and that sort of thing?
It's not about superheroes. If anything, it's about a super villain. But
Hmm.
to me, it just was like, okay, these lower premise horror movies going to or excuse me, superhero stuff is about to come out because people are going to want to do superhero stuff, but may not have the budget or resources or the likenesses to do like a Marvel or a DC. And yeah, so it's really a revenge story. It's like The Crow. The Crow is a good example. It's
Mm.
like a guy comes back from the dead, starts killing people. It's
Right.
pretty simple.
All right, cool. So I mean, you're 3 issues in. How many more issues you looking at? You're looking at a 6 issue or 5 issues?
Five,
Five. Gotcha.
five, and then four is done right now, and then
Mm.
five is being drawn right now. I think we're 20% done with five. So very
Mm.
excited.
All right, cool, nice. So have you started shopping it around to publishers, or are you looking? Have you started that process?
Yeah, I found a publisher for Decay, and I'm working on a publisher for Intrusive Thoughts.
Okay, cool. Now, just out of curiosity, like, are you looking maybe sometime further down this year, or maybe in 2024?
It's gonna be 2024.
Right.
For probably for both. Yeah, no, definitely for both.
Mm.
If not later. But to me, it's like I just want to finish it, get it to the publisher. You can do whatever you want with it, and I want to work independent of you and kind of do my own thing, and then you can get it into Diamond or what have you.
Right. All right, cool. Now, have you looked into that space as far as dealing with Diamond and like dealing with retailers? Have you started working in there?
No, honestly, I'm not because it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff I have to do. That's what the publisher is for. Like
Hmm.
I don't feel like dealing with that side of things. Like I'm trying to like increase my output, and
Right.
I'm trying to like keep myself as free as possible. So like talking to
Mhm.
Diamond, that doesn't sound fun. Doesn't sound.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, unfortunately, it's like anything else. They're gonna be like, you're gonna get the publisher, and they're gonna be like, well, we still need you to promote,
Hmm.
right? So it's still gonna be one of those situations.
Yeah, basically.
So it's always a tough road. Um, Now, going back to your Kickstarters, now where do you find that you're getting the most support from, right? Like, and because we're in this, we're doing Kickstarter, whatever. Do you find your biggest support coming from Facebook, stuff like this, or we're doing interviews? Where are you finding your biggest bump coming from?
I would say Twitter. I would say Twitter. I would
Mm-hmm.
say family of Twitter. Twitter. I really did. I got onto the scene. I got onto the
Mm-hmm.
scene in like early 2022.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I really want to make. I want to be undeniable in space. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
synonymous with indie comics. So I started just meeting people, just like trying to just networking, just building my network, and then Twitter Spaces was a thing that had come out, and that's
Mm-hmm.
basically a voice. That's like a voice chat almost like a Discord. And so I was in those almost every other day, just
Right.
talking to my friends, getting better. It was a real constructive environment. We would do interviews, and we would just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And really, I'm the only person. I would say I'm the main person using Twitter Spaces in comics. And
Mm-hmm.
then if you see somebody doing a Twitter space, maybe it's just an underused utilized tool. So I became synonymous with that, and I built like a really big community off of that.
Nice.
Really big community, and then that's where I would say I get most of my support from, along with family.
Gotcha. Now, that's interesting. Family, like, what type of support do you find yourself getting from your family?
My mom is my biggest fan. She's
Nice.
my biggest patron. She's
Uh,
incredible. So she's incredibly proud of my family and friends also kick in, but it's
mhm.
not. I to say I couldn't do without him would be like an understatement.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, listen, fair enough, man. We all need family, man. That's important. So now, intrusive thoughts. We were talking about it's you have the sign up pages up, right? So when are you launching, and like what are we looking at here?
I'm launching tomorrow morning.
Nice.
I'm gonna roll over and then hit launch and then go to work. Hopefully, be funny by the time I get to work.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow 8 a.m. Eastern.
Okay. Cool. 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 Now, when we click on that button and go to intrusive thoughts, what are we looking at? What type of story are we seeing?
It's going to be a horror mystery. It's going to be like super atmospheric. So basically, this guy is an orphan,
Hmm.
and so he's got enough problems. He's got like night terrors. He got sleep paralysis, and his mental state is getting worse. He's got insomnia. He is about to go to school, which is scary because he's an orphan, so he doesn't have a family support. So he's about to like lose a support system and from his foster family. So he's really stressed out, and his sleep paralysis demon bites one of his classmates. So it materializes and bites a classmate. So it's about like why is that happening, and what can we do to fix it?
All right, cool. Now, what got you in the headspace to think of something like that? Because that's obviously some sounds like a little personal. Like, what got you in there? You know.
It's not. I mean, like it deals with like depression, anxiety, loneliness, and stuff like that. Which I think
Hmm.
a lot of people deal with that. But it wasn't, like I was so, what happened? I'm gonna tell you the process was that I got denied publishers for my first comic book, and I was like, okay,
Hmm.
so I was like, I'm getting published. This one's getting published. So the actual creation of it, and I also wanted a story that was very malleable. I don't think people. It's going to keep you on your toes. Like it's not. It's going to be. I love stories that keep you guessing. You know.
Right.
I feel like so much media nowadays is so predictable, and predictable isn't necessarily bad, but neither. I want something that where I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm truthfully, and then it's taken me through so many like right turns, and I look back and I was like, there's a through line here. It makes total sense. They were building to this the whole time. That's what I wanted to do. So it was so much less about the story and like the premise, and it was more about the overall story.
Right.
But the idea, I was in high school and I had the idea, probably I think inspired by Death Note, of like just like something following you, like this big scary thing following you as like a metaphor for depression. And maybe I worked forward from there. I'm not really sure. I wish I could had like tell like what inspired me. I can't I can't think of it.
Well, here's a question: how long did it germinate? Like, how long did it take you to really like sit there and process that? Because obviously you were saying high school, so I mean, this sounds like it's been years you've been working on this and thinking on it.
No, really, no. It's just the kind of the idea, the base idea, and the base idea is basically Death Note, or very very similar to Death Note. I'll be honest with you, man. I think I came up with the idea and got the scripts written and then got it produced within 4 months.
Okay.
Which is a crazy turnaround. But I was really, like I said, I was like, I wanted to get published so bad. Like I was just working crazy, and it's bizarre. It's bizarre, and you know what? I'm proud of myself that I can make a comic book in 4 months. A comic book, well, not a series, but the scripts and all that stuff. And it's like that's a good skill, especially if you want to be a comic book creator in the space. You're gonna have to make different stuff. You can't just, excuse me. It's going to be more advantageous to be able to make certain stuff than just one thing, because my team with Intrusive Thoughts and my team with Decay are two different teams, so they can work concurrently, so I can make more comic books.
Oh no, listen, hard work, pays off. I wrote professionally in the 90s, right? I did something called Tenchi Muyu. And I was working for Pioneer. They were the owners at the time. They handed me 12 videotapes and they were like, watch this and get us a plot. And I binge watched those suckers in 2 days, wrote 2 different submissions. They picked one, started writing scripts, and then sometimes that's all it is, man. You just gotta bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that's what a professional writer does.
Right. You just gotta bang, because if you get a call from Marvel or DC, they're gonna be like, all right, pitch me. You'd be like, what? What do you mean? The editor's like, what are you here for? Pitch me.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to start coming up with stuff. And then once they accept one, they'll be like, all right, well, have that on my desk, in the next 2 or 3 days, buddy. Right? Yeah. Because if you wait longer, they'll forget you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I'm working towards. Because, like, I don't know. Like, it's interesting to me because I don't know. Everybody assumes I want like a pro career, you know what I'm saying? And like I just want to be able to make comics at the end of the day. But like it just sounds like I don't want to have to. I like the idea of like I can make comics a creative or business decision, right? But if you depend on it for rent money, that's a little tricky. Right now I'm working on my YouTube. And I'm really hoping that I can be a full-time content creator, and then that I feel like that's a little bit more sustainable, and it would also work with the comics as well. It would go hand in hand,
Right. All right, cool. Now you're launching. You've done already. This is your 4th campaign, right?
Yes.
Now, before you launched, who were you looking at? Like before you launched, like who you like? Okay, you're looking at Brian Pulido, like who you like saying, okay, that dude got it, and I want to follow that guy, like, or that person or whatever. Who are the people that you were looking at?
Pat Shand, who did Cheeky, Thirsty, and Charlie Stickney, who did the game White Ash Galarian. Oh, yeah. And what's really cool is I actually know these guys, like we're friends, I can hit them up for advice, which is like a crazy, but that goes back to making that network, right. They kind of, this is going to sound crazy, but they kind of sought me out, not for professionally, but just they just like me. They just like what was going on. So those are the two guys. You know, the Brian Polito thing. No disrespect, I'm just not overly familiar with them, and it also sounds like he's doing something that's one way out of the scope of what I can aspire to do right now. And then it's just also not in kind of the genre that I like to work in. So I'm kind of looking like 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 rungs up on the ladder, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. I mean, Polito's definitely in another stratosphere.
Yeah. So it's like, why would I watch? No, I mean, respectfully, why would I watch him? I'm not even in the same galaxy. Like, why, you know?
Right. No, I get it, man. I get it. You know, it's like, okay, all right, that's a big mountain, you know. So, all right. So, Anthony, we've been at this for a while, right? So we're almost at the end. We're not there just yet. So I got some goofy questions for you first. But before we get to that, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
Absolutely. I'm on Twitter at Stokes the Writer, and then I'm on YouTube at Super Comic Bros.
All right, nice. All right, so I got a couple questions for you. I asked these to everybody. If you had the choice of any artist, living or dead, doesn't matter. Don't worry about cash. Don't worry about your budget. None of that. Who would you want to get to do a cover for you?
Why not Jack Kirby, right?
Okay.
Why not? I mean, you know, why not?
All right. Fair enough. That's cool. Now, if you got the golden ticket and they called you up to the big companies and they said, all right, Anthony, come on up. What IP would you want to work on the most? And it doesn't matter. Marvel, DC, Image, manga, it doesn't matter. Anything.
But it has to be existing IP. Yeah. I would say Spider-Man. And it's not because I'm the craziest. Well, let me answer. Well, I think X-Men actually sounds great because it has the dexterity. It's just versatile, right? You can do anything in the X-Men universe. Like, you know, like from a power set wise, tonally, I would pick X-Men. But if I really wanted something to pop, I'd pick Spider-Man because that's a layup, you know?
Right.
That's an absolute layup. And then there's a good chance it'll might pop up in a movie, you know what I'm saying? One of your yeah, that's what I pick.
Nice. Okay, cool. Now, you said you read Spider-Man early on. You're like the essentials. Did you have a favorite run in there?
No, I don't. They didn't have runs though. It was just like issues. Like it was just a big collection of issues. I like Spider-Man Blue. I like Spider-Man Blue.
Okay. That was Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, and I like the Spider-Man. Oh, I did read the Spider-Man Ultimates. Let me be clear. But the problem was, like I'm at the library, right? You would have to read it out of order. Crazy. Like it'd be like, forget issue 1. You're not getting volume 1. Like it doesn't matter. You're not getting that shit.
Right.
But like it'd be like 3, 7, 12, 13. Like you just have to kind of skip around.
Right. Gotcha. Now those were individual comics, or they were the trades?
These are the volumes. The Ultimate Spider-Man, I believe, was Bendis.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember I spoke to the librarian. She was like, yeah, you know, if they steal them, that means they're really popular, so they keep ordering them. Like, okay. Yeah, that's what she told me. She was like, yeah, if they steal them, that means they're really popular, so they order them again. So it's just funny. It's just hilarious. I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense on some kind of weird level, but all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so check it out. I got some comparatives for you, right? I will throw you a couple of softballs and then we'll work our way in. All right. So Captain. Oh, and some of these come with Y, right? So Captain America or Batman?
I'd say Batman.
Okay, fair enough. Godzilla or Gamera?
I'm gonna say Godzilla because Gamera is the one with 3 heads, right?
No, Gamera's the turtle.
Definitely give me Godzilla.
All right. All right. Akira or Nausicaa?
You know, I'm gonna say Nausicaa because Akira is kind of like a dystopian future. Akira's not a happy place. Like that's not a happy universe.
Okay, that's fair. Doctor Strange or John Constantine?
Give me Doctor Strange because I'm not familiar with John Constantine. So give me Doctor Strange.
Okay, fair enough. Um, hmm. I don't know if you're a horror guy, but we'll try this. Pinhead or Freddy Krueger?
Let me Google Pinhead real quick. Google real quick. Oh yeah, I don't know why I call him Pincushion. I don't know
Nice.
why. Pinhead. That's hilarious. Give me Freddy Krueger. I just think he's so funny.
Right.
And he has such great riffs. The primetime one from Friday from the third one
Mhm.
was what was that, Dream Fighters, Dream Warriors? That is like classic, you know.
All right. Cool. Yeah, it's been a minute. I haven't watched. Jesus, it's been forever since I watched any of those movies. Um. Hmm. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Okay, I love Rogue One. Rogue One's one of my favorite movies because
Mhm.
like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy is great. And like they're great, but the Hobbit's not that good. And I heard
Oh yeah.
the Rings of Power, I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes. But then Star Wars has like the new trilogy, which is bad, and then the prequels, which is bad,
Mhm.
and then the TV shows, so I don't think they're that good. So, but Rogue One just basically solos. That's the only reason.
Gotcha. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Um. Hmm. Oh, here's one. Manga or anime?
Manga,
Hmm.
because I feel like the anime a lot of the times it's not, the adaptations aren't that good. They have to rush them or what have you.
All right. Cool. Cool. Um. Kirk or Picard?
I've seen one episode of Star Trek my entire life.
That's funny.
So much I'm gonna say Kirk. I'm gonna say Kirk. Like, look, my entertainment scope is not wide. You know, like I told you everything I like. Like
Yeah, no, I know. No, I got you. I got you. Um, all right, that's cool. That's cool. Let's well, Predator or Alien?
Predator for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I was just watching Predators too. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Predators, like the
Predators. Yeah,
no, I actually love that movie. I think that movie's underrated.
I think so too. I think so because for me it's Predator, the original, right? Then it's
Yeah,
Predators, the second that one, and then Predator Two, which is I thought was I really like that one.
I don't know. This might be a hot take. I like Predators better than Predator.
Okay, then that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair. Uh, Naruto or One Piece?
One Piece.
Okay.
Yeah, think about that.
That's funny because you're the only person, like you're the first person I've ever asked that question to, right?
Okay,
Because obviously I'm trying to find stuff you're familiar with.
I
Now,
appreciate that.
now, um, One Piece because I've never watched One Piece and I've never really watched Naruto. I've only watched like small segments of any of them, of either one of those two. So obviously you've watched Naruto, right? Or some of it.
I've read. See, I'll read manga. Remember, I wouldn't.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So you've read the manga and you've read the One Piece. Now, what makes one better or what makes one superior?
the thing is about One Piece, it has great world building. Like
Mm,
it's that's really the appeal, is like the story and how it unfolds and how it works characters back. It's not unlike a Game of Thrones, right? Like when you
mm,
look at like, okay, this is an expansive story. And then I mean, I can make it as simple as like One Piece expands the world. Like when you have like, that's like One Piece isn't named Luffy, the main character, because it's about the world.
mm,
Naruto is about Naruto. So the world actually retracts when you have these MCs, like everything revolves around a character. It's not too different from like say Harry Potter, where it's like we have this giant world that we could explore, but we keep getting stories that have to directly involve the main character. And then when they do Boruto, which is the sequel, it's set in the Village of the Leaf. And
mm.
it's basically like a clone of Naruto. So it's like the world building. Like, yeah, the world building. I can make it simple.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Um, hmm, I don't know if you're interested in either of these things, but I'll ask anyway. RPGs or video games?
You mean like
Role playing games versus video games.
um I'm gonna say, but I feel like role playing games are video games, right?
Well,
Like a tabletop.
yeah, like a tabletop. Yeah.
Oh yeah, give me the video games for convenience.
Gotcha.
For convenience, nothing else.
Nice. Oh, here's one for you. Because I know you've been to several conventions. I saw pictures on your Facebook, which is mad cool. Would you rather do conventions or Kickstarter?
The thing is, but it's a hard question because you need the Kickstarter to make the thing. To be honest, if let's say I made the book, right, and then like the profit isn't a concern, like the revenue, it just costs nothing. I would say conventions because it's just easier, it's faster. And you can it's just a different, like running a Kickstarter is like so specific. It's such a unique thing. There is nothing else like it. Like it's like I've been in sales. I've been in like well, I worked at like a Macy's. Like I've been doing this for years, you know, like but a Kickstarter is just different. It's just so weird. It's really weird.
All right. Science fiction or fantasy?
Give me science fiction for sure, easy.
Nice.
I'm not good with the old names.
Oh, gotcha.
Like Galarian, or not Galarian. Galadriel.
Galadriel. Yeah. No, I got you, man. I got you. All right. Okay. Oh, here you go. Movies or TV shows?
Movies. Easy.
Okay. Nice. Now, let me ask you this. What's your favorite movie? That's not, well, everything has some form of genre, but that's not that's not sci-fi or fantasy.
I would say Parasite. Oh, my favorite movie. Yeah, my favorite movie is Parasite, I would say.
That's the Korean film.
Yeah, incredible movie.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's cool. Now, do you watch a lot of foreign cinema?
No, not as much as I want to, man. I don't have a lot of time right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's like because I'm tired. I'm beat. Like if I'm hanging out, I'm doing something that's like so low, like investment. Like
right.
I love Chopped, right? Like I'm gonna throw on some Chopped. Like I can just sit back and chill, you know. But then I gotta read subtitles. Like nah, it's tough.
No, I got you. No, that's cool. All right, cool, man. I mean, you know, I think we ran through this well enough. So, Anthony, this was awesome, man. I thank you for coming on. This was cool. You know, it was a pleasure meeting you, man.
Absolutely. You know? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Now, one more time, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
At Super Comic Bros on YouTube and at Stokes the Writer on Twitter.
All right, cool. So go check it out. I know I put a link in the show notes. So go check it out. Go check out his book. It launches tomorrow. Should be awesome.
Tomorrow morning should be.
Now, here's another question for you. Where can they get Decay 1 through 3 on that same campaign?
Absolutely. Every single issue, every single cover of Decay will be available as an add-on for Intrusive Thoughts.
All right, cool. So there you go. Thank you so much, Anthony. This was awesome. Go check out the book. Go pick up some copies, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Have a good night, guys. Thank you, Anthony. Have a good night.
Absolutely.